hunt where you differentiate yourself from everybody else that's out there. You're not intimidated to dump off and drop off into a deep, dark hole. You're ready to go with your kit, you're ready to go physically, and you're ready to go mentally with the right skill sets. And it means success. The train to hunt model, I think, is probably been brought to fruition by society and how we are currently operating in terms of just, the United States and everything with regards to all the distractions we have, all of the other commitments that we have, and ultimately at the end of the day, the motivations we have. You have to be motivated to keep yourself physically fit. So hunting becomes a goal, becomes a passion, which for me and for a lot of folks, that's what it is. It's just a different time in our society, and ultimately Train to Hunt puts people in the right mind focus. It puts people, it makes them accountable, not only with themselves, but with, other people that are doing the same thing. But at the end of the day, the guys that are putting that together, Dan and Ken and everybody else is involved, I guarantee you could stand on a ridge anywhere in the world and hear a bugle or see a trophy at the bottom, way out of range, and they are going to jump off. And that's ultimately what it's about. It's about not being intimidated by anything. And really, when you look at the time that you have as a human being to commit to hunting, why do you want to have walls in your way? Why do you want to have obstacles? Eliminate it. Don't be intimidated. Have the best gear. Be as physically fit as you can. Be mentally ready. Have the field craft and the skill sets, and you will succeed. And you're going to put yourself into a class. That's what Train to Hunt's doing. It's putting average people that have limited time and tough schedules into an area where only in the past elite few have been able to operate. So we used some Greek words, and we combined them together to come up with something that we thought we stood for, or we wanted to stand for. Kryptos was the first word, which is Greek for hidden or secret. And then techne or techno was the second term. So those combined together, Kryptek. Techne or techno means art, craft, or skill. And so really ultimately the name means, the hidden art of being concealed from the elements, from Mother Nature. One of the other concepts we use is also, the art of field craft and skilled sets, superior, and only available to the elite. Ultimately, the idea was to take the concepts and the features that we saw that we were using or our associates were using, and basically offer them up into the civilian market. So the battlefield, the backcountry, it kind of works both ways. You could say, backcountry to battlefield as well. I mean, there's such a crossover. Ultimately, you're in an austere environment, extremely demanding environment, and you need to have the best gear, the best equipment that you can. Whether it means that you just spent, $20,000 for a sheep hunt, or your life depends on it because you're in an OPLP, observing a Taliban, hide site or whatever the case may be. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to have the best equipment, whether it's your clothing, whether it's your bow, your rifle, so on and so forth. So the idea is what we knew about what we were using is to take that and basically bring it to the civilian market and just offer up not only something that was great in terms of performance, but also somewhat affordable. One of my favorites is the Kryptek jacket, which is a synthetic insulated jacket, very compact, extremely lightweight. Comes in the stuff sack, and this thing is just absolute go-to here. It's got body mapping insulation. We've cut out a lot of the areas where you just don't need the bulk, specifically on these side panels. You'll eliminate a lot of weight here, and ultimately, this is just like good insurance if you're out, for temperature changes, drastic temperature changes, and it becomes just extremely comfortable and extremely, great layering piece. And if the weather's right, an outer shell as well. But at the end of the day, it's one of our favorite pieces right now. Probably more so than not, just because we actually have all the gear that came on, the gear that Rabbit used the most on our adventures last year. It's going to have a Permaloft insulation in it, synthetic insulation. We've purposely gone with that just so that if you do get wet, you don't have to worry about clumping. You don't have to worry about a loss of power factor. There's a lot of good things about down, and there's some, we are looking at some down products right now, but we're sticking with the synthetic just simply because when you get into a situation where you do get wet, you don't lose a whole bunch of heat.
Yeah.
And you can recover quickly.
Yeah.
And you know how important that is in Alaska.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But the biggest feature out of this, which is going to differentiate from any of the other options that are out there right now, is just the body mapping. These side panels.
Yeah.
It's almost like a vest, except it's full, full length.
Yeah.
And it's a great piece. Kryptek gloves this year, accessories, these are going to be sold online off our website. These are our prototypes. There's some modifications to these, but we do have a colder weather glove that still allows dexterity. It's actually, there's a lot of dexterity in it. I think that people are going to find this glove real useful when you're operating or hunting in environments that are, 45 below or 45 and below, and getting down towards freezing or below freezing. It's got a lot of reinforcement in the fingers, a lot of good, grip features, and the sewing in this glove is, I would say, acceptable in terms of, ruggedness. Part of the reason why it's not overdeveloped is just so you can maintain dexterity. The idea is to be able to keep the glove on and continue to shoot.
Yeah.
So I would expect to see that one come out. And then we are offering some lighter weight, bow hunting type, warmer weather gloves. This glove is really to augment our Valhalla series, which I don't have an example of right here, but for those early season warmer climates, even here in Alaska, where you're up and it's in the 50s and 60s and stuff, and you're hiking and you're moving out. So this glove offers a little bit of concealment in terms of the hands. At the same time, there's a lot of dexterity. It's going to have a great grip on the hand, whether you're handling a bow or a rifle or whatever. So both of those gloves are going to be available. Lots of good features that tighten things up and keep you nice and snug. Ultimately, these gloves are going to have to get out in the field, and people are going to have to reel on them. We're bringing these gloves to market aggressively. We'll continue to improve on them. I think that they're already, probably better than, the majority of the options out there. But they're not in the same league as some of our tactical shooting gloves and that sort of thing, or combat gloves that we continue to improve on. So, in addition to these accessories, we also have some belts that are coming out this year with some good rigger type buckles and that sort of thing. The Valhalla series that ties in with that glove, I think, is going to be extremely well received, from New Mexico to Alabama, Louisiana, all those hot climates, early goat hunts and early elk hunts. Mm-hmm. These are lightweight, minimalist type systems, and they're really, designed for the guy that's concerned about either weight or are being, thermal regulated. Right now the stuff we have is kind of probably a little bit more dialed in for later in the year.
Sure.
So this option with the that we have with the Valhalla series that's going to be out is going to provide flexibility for the early season type hunter or the even late summer type hunter as well. The complete flip side is going to be our Aegis series. And our Aegis, I've got the jacket here. Unfortunately, I don't have the bib. There's a great bib that comes with this, but what you have with this Aegis stuff is you have a combination of basically 3 layers, in the layering system. I mean, it's probably the lightest weight, warmest waterproof system that I think that's going to be available on the market. I say that just because I don't want to sound cocky, but this thing has got the combination of all the best. So you have our Cadaldo Rain series on the outside. You've got synthetic insulation, throughout it. It's a little bit heavier, but for a guy that doesn't want to necessarily have 3 or 4 things in his pack, this is going to be ideal. Complete waterproof, complete windproof, and we're calling this our extreme weather system. And this means whatever you throw at me, I'm ready to go. You throw this with some base layers, and I mean, you're going to be set. We're continuing to maintain a lot of features that people have started to identify and appreciate. A completely adjustable waist system. A lot of folks don't necessarily like wearing a belt. With our system, you don't need a belt to cinch up. And a lot of guys, I mean, it's not uncommon to lose 10, 15 pounds. You've lost 20 pounds on the hunt, right? So these are nice. When you go in on a hunt, you're in for 14 days or so, and you're eating, 5 to 1,000 calories a day, and just because of weight, you drop a lot of weight. This keeps your pants from falling off. That's a great feature. A lot of folks are starting to appreciate. We're going to maintain all of the connections for our suspenders. They were offered this last year in the Cadag pant only. It's kind of a oversight on our part. This year we're hopeful to bring, those out so that you can wear them with whatever pant. I really have come to enjoy the suspenders just because they allow you to carry more weight and it's all taken up on your shoulders. This is the Kryptek Highlander pattern, although it looks a lot like our Nomad pattern. The guys that are utilizing this right now, we've got a number of folks that are out in the field, doing testing, but they're operating in those environments where you have a lot of pines and desert environments and so on and so forth in the Northwest, sage environments. It's extremely effective. A few more little greens in it I think are really going to make it much more effective, and it goes back to the reason why we're bringing this pattern out. We're a 70% plus environment. This is going to be your go-to dialed in pattern, and it's going to provide the results you need or want.